Hello everybody, Jediwarlock here, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, I wanted to return to the world of Middle-earth and Lord of the Rings Online. In LotRO, your player character can be one of several classes that possess the skills and talents of one of the archetypical heroes of Tolkien's fantasy. From the stealthy burglar, who is based on the hobbit Bilbo Baggins, to the wise lore master, inspired by Elrond, classes allow differentiation between player characters and allow them to serve specialized roles both in a group and on solo adventures. Each class has a different playstyle and combat rotation, and determining which class works best for you is an important part of your early LotRO experience. While I've tried several of the classes available in the game in my many years of playing LotRO, I've always come back to my first and personal favorite among the class roster. The Hunter, one of the most memorable archetypes of fantasy and folklore alike, has always resonated with me, and today I'd like to cover some of the main reasons why it's my favorite. From their combat system design to their incredibly diverse set of abilities usable off the battlefield, the Hunter provides players with an awesome game experience that seriously decreases travel time and improves efficiency while playing. These reasons not only contribute to why the Hunter is my favorite, but also why I believe the Hunter is one of the best classes in the game, especially for new players. So with that being said, let's get right into it. One of the most well-known aspects of the Hunter class is their utilization of bows or crossbows as their main weapon. In-game, this means the player can attack from a great range, allowing them to deal massive amounts of damage before melee enemies can even counterattack. For encounters requiring more skill than a mere goblin scout or brigand, the Hunter may choose to set up traps that ensnare enemies, preventing them from reaching you. In contrast to other MMO games like World of Warcraft Classic, the Hunters of LotRO are able to utilize ranged weapons even at melee range, meaning damage output is not lowered substantially by forcing you to use only melee weapons at close range. Hunters can use a variety of one-handed melee weapons, which can increase specific stats and increase your chances of activating certain effects, such as scoring a critical hit or lowering the target's armor for a short period of time. As a casual veteran of the game, I can't say I've deduced the perfect weapon combination for a given player in terms of melee weapons, but I do prefer to use bows as often as possible for the critical hit bonus as well as the more natural feel of the player animations. Hunters rely on a short-term investment resource called focus to power some of their more devastating attacks. Hunter attacks can be divided into two categories: induction and focus. Induction attacks need time to charge up before being fired, meaning a small loading bar will appear before the attack is completed. While this takes some time, the payoff is generation of one or more focus points which show up in the red bar at the bottom left of the user interface. Focus points are then spent on, unsurprisingly, focus attacks, which are instant cast and often deal heavy damage to one or more targets. Mastering the balance between these two classes of attacks is an important part of developing your skills as a hunter, but the early game experience of utilizing just a few basic attacks should allow you to become familiar with the system. Overall, hunters rely on a basic system of ranged attacks that are then complemented by several other skills, such as trap setting and melee attacks, that I believe together perfectly encapsulate the feel of what a hunter in Middle-earth should be. Going off of the combat style of the Hunter, I also wanted to briefly discuss the possible class specializations, or specs, and why they effectively turn one class into three very different styles of play. Every class in LotRO allows you to choose one of three trait trees, or lines, starting at level 6, which opens the door to unlock specific abilities and upgrades over time that players of a different spec will not receive. First, the Blue Hunter, or Huntsman, is a mid-range hunter who can shoot while moving and unloads damaging volleys of arrows. Notable special abilities in this line include improved survivability skills, rapid fire, and an upgrade to a movement speed buff. Second, the Red Hunter, or Bowmaster, is a long-range sniper who remains stationary and deals massive damage from afar. Major upgrades include improving high-damage shots, increasing focus generation, and bypassing enemy defenses. Lastly, the Yellow Hunter, or the Trapper of Foes, is a master of distraction and getting out of tight spots, utilizing an advanced array of traps and evasion tactics to take down foes. I personally have always been a Red Hunter, and have enjoyed perfecting my focus management and damage output as I've journeyed across Middle-earth, but I can definitely see the appeal of the other two options. Resetting your trait points to respec into a different tree is not terribly difficult, and I strongly recommend trying out all 3 trees early on in your LotRO experience to see which feels most comfortable for you. Class specs provide players with even more individuality with their gameplay decisions, and I appreciate how they allow players to explore different intricacies of LotRO's combat without having to begin an entirely new character. Now, this section might not be an especially objective argument as to why the Hunter shines above all other classes here, but I did want to show off some of the cool secondary abilities in the Hunter's toolkit that really flesh out the archetype of a rugged survivalist armed with a bow who can really pack a punch, or in this case, an arrow. Find the path. Before you purchase your riding skill, you're going to be doing quite a bit of running across Middle-earth. Find the path helps with the occasional monotony of running by increasing your movement speed by 15% as long as it's active. This amount can be upgraded further if you spec into the Blue Hunter line, and is even considered a Fellowship Aura, meaning you give the speed boost to all nearby members of your party. Even after you get your riding skill, this ability is still very helpful when running around inside or in between fighting enemies, where taking the time to mount up would be detrimental. Camouflage. When you're looking to hide from some enemies, make use of the camouflage skill to slip into a state of stealth, making it harder for enemies to find you. If you spec into Redline, you're able to upgrade this ability to give you a massive critical hit buff on top of increasing stealth, a crucial tool for any hunter wanting to remain unnoticed when foes are nearby. Purge Poison. Perhaps one of the hunter's most important healing abilities, Purge Poison is a cure ability that removes up to 2 detrimental effects, such as wound or poison, from yourself or an ally, and increases your poison resistance for a short period of time. I use this most often when fighting against enemy archers who can inflict powerful bleed damage, and it has become one of my most reliable tools, especially at higher levels. Bright Campfire. Just take a beating taking down a pack of orcs with no food supplies to heal you? Consider using your hunter survival skills to set up a campfire that quickly restores your morale and power. Additionally, if you or an ally have the cooking vocation, the campfire can serve as a crafting station for up to 3 minutes. Passage of Nature, Foes, and Shadow. A crucial skill of any hunter is the ability to track their prey, and LotRO hunters are no exception. These 3 abilities allow you to track a certain type of enemies, and even select a single foe to track from a list of nearby enemies. This is an incredible tool for quests involving a specific enemy, as it allows you to single them out quickly within an enemy encampment or out in the wild. If all these sweet abilities haven't convinced you to try out the Hunter yet, there's one more gameplay aspect of the Hunter class that should seal the deal. Out of all the types of abilities at the hunter's disposal, travel skills take the cake in terms of sheer volume. The first learned, Desperate Flight, allows you to escape combat and travel to a nearby rally point, where players go when they're defeated in battle. This skill allows hunters to end an unfavorable encounter without suffering equipment damage and, well, dying, which is always a plus. Another important skill, Return to Camp, transports the hunter's entire fellowship to a campsite fire somewhere throughout Middle-earth, which can be changed by the hunter by interacting with any other campsite location. The remainder of these skills are known as guides, and can transport the hunter and his allies to certain towns and encampments across the world with virtually no cost. Some of these abilities are unlocked automatically at certain levels, while others require a certain class quest to be completed or a certain level of reputation to be reached with a specific faction. These skills are not only extremely helpful in navigating the world when distance travel is required, but they also encourage interaction with much of the content in the game as you travel across the world to unlock the guide abilities. Especially for free-to-play players who have to spend exorbitant amounts of LotRO points on swift travel, hunter guides are a great strategy to escape paywalls or excessive slow travel, and should be utilized frequently by casual and hardcore players alike to streamline the questing experience. The Hunter, long regarded as an essential class in MMOs for years, is an integral character within the world of LotRO. Using long-range attacks to cripple and defeat their foes, the Hunter class offers a diverse spread of specializations that enhance already useful abilities and attacks, from trapping enemies to moving swiftly across the world. I hope this video has provided you all with a solid argument as to why the Hunter is one of the best classes in LotRO, and I highly suggest you check it out. See you all in Middle-earth. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new to join the Jedi Order, comment down below with your thoughts, and until next time, peace.